All right, this is Mark with Metaltech 4x4. We're in the shop and we've got a Lexus GX470 here that has a body that's sitting a little different on the frame from one side to the other. It's actually not very uncommon. The body mounts are these gigantic rubber mounts. They're really big. And then they go into a steel upper mount that they're sitting on. And it's not uncommon for those steel upper mounts to sometimes get dented inward, or the rubber mounts themselves just kind of getting tired and moving around, but they're huge. And so it's not uncommon if that actually happens. So what we can do is we can actually do a small shim on these that's going to allow us to shim the body a little bit to correct for how the body's sitting on the frame. And this is important when we're dealing with aftermarket steel bumpers, because the bumper's mounted to the frame and it's unforgiving as far as how it sits to the body, whereas the plastic skinned bumper can flex and twist and it always looks like it's perfect, even though one side may be slightly off from the other, but it doesn't really matter because it's plastic. So this way we can really see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shim these body mounts very quickly and very easily. So there's a simple trick to it. We're going to be building some very small little plastic 1/4 inch thick C's that are going to slide right in, and it's super easy how we do this. So one of the first steps we're going to do is we're going to loosen the body mount bolts in 3 locations. This is the back right side that we're having to do on this truck. So we're going to release the both rear body mounts, and then the side that we're going to be putting the shim into, we're going to do the body mount that's directly in front of the tire, the rear tire. So right now I'm going to go ahead and start loosening these up, and hopefully they just come nice and free for us. That's nice and free. Do the other side. Good. And we're going to do the one in the very front over here. We don't need to take the body mounts completely out. We're just getting them so they come free. These body mounts do have a bolt. It's basically like a carriage bolt where there's a square head on the top of it captured up inside the body. So that's why we're not reaching up on the back side to hold anything. I was able to loosen these with the impact a little bit. I've got a couple that I needed to bring down a little bit lower. I don't want to square or round off the top of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be careful and use a 17 millimeter gear wrench and a 9mm line wrench, just because they have a small little area on the bottom of this that you can hang on to. So I'm going to use the 17 on top, and I'm going to use the 9mm line wrench. You don't have to use the line wrench, but you could use a regular 9mm wrench too. But in this particular case, I have one, and it supports it very well. So I'm going to use the line wrench. There we go. Now that's nice and loose. And that's going to give me a lot of flexibility with this body mount, because we're going to lift the body up slightly. So we'll do the one in the front now. Oh yeah, here comes the gooey water. These body mounts hold all kinds of junk from the trail. But by loosening this front one, it's going to take, we're not trying to twist the body or anything like that. We're just trying to shim the body to the frame is all we're doing. We're just correcting for how the body's sitting on the frame. Certainly it's not going to hurt anything. There's no difference as far as how the doors open or close or anything like that. We're just correcting for what has just accumulated over time. 180,000 miles, things are going to change. What I'm doing here is we're going to make this spacer for the body mount, and very simple. We got our 1/4 inch plastic. This happens to be polyethylene, excuse me, polycarbonate. You don't have to have polycarbonate. It can be just a standard plastic, just something unique. I'm using 1/4 inch. It's a good number to use. There's some situations where you need multiple, like 2, maybe for both sides. However, but let's make this part. We're going to take our 3-inch hole saw. We're going to knock a 3-inch hole in this chunk. And what we're really after is the center part. The center part's going to be our actual spacer. So we're going to drill it first, remove the part. I'll switch over. I'll use a 1/2 inch drill. I'll re-drill the hole in it so it's bigger. And then I'm going to use a cutoff disc to create a slot to it. Now you don't have to have a cutoff disc. You can cut it with a saw or whatever you've got. We just have plenty of these in the shop, so I can make the cut a lot quicker. So let's make the part. Fresh battery. Here we go. This is the part we're after right here. So knock the little burrs off the thing, and we need to increase this whole size a 1/2 inch. Okay, has the pilot hole in it from the hole saw. We're gonna take a 1/2 inch, we're gonna increase this size. Now we're gonna slot it. We're gonna make like a shape of a Pac-Man out of it. There's our finished part. So this is it. So it's a very straightforward to make part. If you want to get tricky and fancy with it, you can go ahead and come in and deburr the whole thing, make it all nice and pretty. But honestly, it's going under the truck between the body mount. And when you release that body mount, you're going to discover that it's got a lot of nasty water and junk that's going to come out at the same time. So when you do that, you're going to discover that, you know, this being super pretty isn't really important. Main thing we're after is the thickness, and because we have slotted this now, made a little Pac-Man out of it, it's able to slide right into the bolt without us completely taking the bolt off the truck. So with the bolts loose, we'll be able to slide the sucker in, tighten the bolts up. We just trimmed up the truck, the body to the frame. All right, so we are doing this on a lift. We are a commercial shop, so we have the equipment for it. But if you're doing this at home, all this can be done on the driveway. You don't have to take the tires off the vehicle. It could be sitting on the ground. It just works just fine. You can come in from below, release those body mounts, make it nice and loose. And as far as lifting the body up away from the frame slightly, it's easily done with a floor jack. Just come in below, use a small extension to come up, and you're gonna grab the back reinforced part of the body, and that's the area you're going to push up on. And we're just going to push up slightly, and we're not going to put a lot of stress on that. And I'm going to be doing that with some control using the stabilization screw jack. But first I'm going to lower the truck down and we'll be able to get it close to that. So this is our gap we wanted, which we just now created. It's a small little gap. We haven't taken anything apart. Everything's completely accessible. And then we're going to take our C little spacer, the shim that we made earlier, and we're going to slide this in up above. And because it's got a C in it, it just slides right in. So now we can go ahead and lower the truck down. We just slid our little shim in. That's all it is. It's done. We're going to go ahead, and if you're doing this on a floor jack, you just lower your floor jack. I'm going to lower the screw, stabilization screw here. And the truck is going to drop back down on its regular body mounts. And then now I can come back and I can just tighten these body mounts up. And we're done. I mean, it's that simple. So I'm going to snug that baby up, hit it with the impact. Done. Do the front one. Hopefully this goes with the impact. If not, I don't think it's gonna let me, but we'll try. But I got a gear wrench here, so it makes quick work of this. So the reason we only put one in that corner, that's all it really needed. The back area was just leaning a little bit, listing to one side just slightly. So we just went ahead and put a single one in there. There's some trucks, I mean, my personal GX470, I actually got two on both sides in the back. That's because the rear body mounts were completely collapsed by me loaning the truck out, actually. I loaned it out to a YouTuber, but it's okay, it's what it is. We're taking the truck on trails, we're using the vehicle, and it came back with some collapsed body mounts, but we figured out how to fix it, so not a problem. So, but one of the main reasons that we just did the one, But we released all 3 of these is because we don't want to create an uneven tension on the body. So what we did by releasing the 2 in the back, those are free. The one on this side is free. And then we lifted this corner up by 1/4 of an inch. So these are just all of them lifted up a little bit, and we bolted them back down again. So now the truck's sitting with a smaller 1/4 inch shim adjustment on the back for the body to the frame, and everything's been snugged back up and we're done. Piece of cake. Thanks for watching us.